Hi, I'm Bill, and if this is the first time dropping into the channel, welcome. Today is the 22nd of January, the year 2021. This video is going to give an overview of creating a bad pixel map in Astro Pixel Processor. I will have a subsequent video on the steps you go through to actually create that bad pixel map. Astro Pixel Processor is the package that I've decided to use to process my images. There are many other solutions out there that you can choose to use, but at least you know future videos on my channel will be around this software package. Initially, I purchased a renter's license. It's good for a year. I think I paid about $75. The image here of NGC 2024 demonstrates that I've gained some level of functionality using the tools on the left-hand side to get a resulting image. Again, now it's time to optimize the use of this tool to improve my images when it comes to the processing side of the equation. There is no manual for Astro Pixel Processor. So what I'm doing is I'm creating my own manual. I've started to just make notes on settings that I'm using on the left-hand side of the tool, what settings I'm leaving at default. If I'm changing a setting, what am I changing to? Why am I changing it? And so over time, I will build myself a user manual. I'll be happy to share it with others. In the event it could provide some value, and I'll also do more detailed videos on the tool. But this one today is I needed to start digging in depth, and the first thing I came upon was the opportunity and the need to create what's called a bad pixel map. As you know, when it comes to your camera sensor, the electronics itself introduces shot noise, and there you have hot pixels, cold pixels, and there's an opportunity and need to subtract out this type of noise, and you can do that within this tool through building a bad pixel map. And just briefly, in the options that you have when you're loading and working to register and integrate and calibrate your frames, there is a section here that says bad pixel map, and right now it is set to automatic. You can enable it, disable it. So on a per session basis, Astro Pixel Processor, or I'm going to refer to it as APP going forward, it'll be easier and quicker. It will build a bad pixel map for you on a per session basis, but the opportunity is really to create one using a longer exposure time to enhance the opportunity to remove those bad pixels through APP. So you can create a master bad pixel map. You can use that over a number of months. Some people use it for a year, maybe more, and you load it each time you're going to process a session, and it will use your master instead of the one the tool would normally create. So here is what a bad pixel map looks like created through APP. What we see here are a lot of pixels that, as I understand it, are indicating that they're bad. And what we can do is we can come over here, and hopefully it's going to work. Okay, there's these little arrows here. They're pretty small, but it will open up a window for you where you can find information about the images that you're displaying within the tool. But what I want to go down to here is the information around pixels. And for my camera, the raw number of pixels is in the 20 million range. It's a Canon 6D. But then we get into the raw number of bad pixels. Of that 20 million, close to 100,000 are bad. And within that, we have a certain number of hot pixels, and that's telling us about 2.7% are hot pixels of the total pixel count. And then you have cold pixels, and down here about 2.123%. Now, I don't know yet what is good or bad. I've seen a video where the person had 3% of hot pixels in that. I'll learn about that. But what I'm trying to do now is, since you're going to have bad pixels, I'm trying to optimize the ability of the tool to take those out for me. But there's some things I need to do. And when we come over here, Mabula, who is the person that wrote Astro Pixel Processor, says the first thing you should do in data calibration is to try and create a very good bad pixel map of your sensor. And then it gives you information of how to do it, or rather why you want to do it. And then he just gives a brief example. He's just using 5 darks and 5 flats from his Nikon D750. If you further read through the thread, it's a 5-page thread. There'll be additional information. And this thread started in about 2017 and goes through 2020. So this is kind of how you have to find your information, since there is no manual. But again, as I said, or hopefully I said, down in the bottom there's forum topic tags that you could look for what you're looking for, and then go to those threads specifically. And there is information in there, but you got to tease it out yourself. And but it kind of works. Okay, so I have decided to create a master bad pixel map. I'm just going to show you part of the process right now. Again, I'll put a complete video together, but I've set up my Zenithstar with the Canon 6D, and let's go over to where it's at. So again, I use Astro Photography Tool for my data collection. I tried to use Sequence Generator Pro. Being a poke and hope person, it wasn't working well for me without reading the manual. I flipped over to Astro Photography Tool, and it was pretty, although I said some bad things about the interface initially when I was evaluating it and said I didn't like the interface, actually, if you take a little time, it's pretty easy to work with. So what I'm doing right now here, if we look over at my exposure plan, I'm running a dark frame plan. So I am setting an exposure time of 300 at an ISO of 1600, and I'm doing 30 of those frames. So that's going to be like an hour and 54 minutes to capture those frames. But Mabula recommends doing longer exposures. So that's why I've chosen 300 seconds, and I'm going to do 30 of them. And I'm also going to create another set of dark exposures at 300 seconds, but with an ISO setting of 800. So right now I mostly use the Canon 6D at an ISO of 1600, but if I were to drop it down to 800, then I will have already created a bad pixel map for an ISO setting of 800. And as I'm learning, people create these sets of master calibration frames that they can use over and over again. But anyway, what we got here is what we're seeing is evidence of bad pixels. And so I'm going to capture these frames, and then I'm going to go into the next steps, and then I'll build a video specifically of how I captured the dark frames, how I captured the flats, and then how I munged them all together to create the bad pixel map master that I can use going forward. So hopefully this information was helpful. If you're thinking about using Astro Pixel Processor, or maybe you're already using it, and if you already have gone through this process, please, and you see this video, please give me the feedback to maybe course correct me if I'm approaching this in the wrong way. But again, this topic is important in my mind because how we approach the calibration and to the extent we optimize the calibration, it is going to have it's going to optimize the results, I believe, that we're going to get out of the images. Okay, that's about it. If you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up. As always, I welcome new subscribers. And it's the questions and comments that really enable me and others who may be reading them to learn. So again, if you're, well, I'm a beginner and this stuff is kind of focused on beginning stuff, don't hesitate if you're more experienced and just say, hey, there's a better way to do it, or if you thought about this, or whatever, because I'll learn through that process, get up the learning curve maybe a little bit more quickly, and others who read the comments, if they're beginners as well, they'll maybe get over some obstacles and get up their learning curve a little bit more quickly as well. So again, look forward for additional videos around Astro Pixel Processor. As I gain that knowledge, I'll produce them. And other than that, thanks again for dropping into the channel. Until next time.